Hey, good morning from Mike Troll, AMSOIL dealer, 146-3115 of number1synthetic.com. Link will be in the description and the pinned comment. But anyway, what today's video is about my experience with AGM batteries, specifically the Duracell AGMs that I get from Batteries Plus. And we're going to talk about my two chargers. I've got the CTEK and I've got an Optima. We'll talk about my experience over the years with AGM batteries. And I'm going to actually use my scan tool to show you guys the voltage of this new battery and then the alternator charging voltage as well. So it's even going to give us a voltage, like show the drop when you're cranking. So you know, if you just have a voltmeter, you can always do that on the battery terminals as well to check your battery when the engine's off, and then you can check it when the engine's on to see what your alternator's doing. Go ahead and, oh, what's that, buddy? Oh, buddy says like and subscribe if you would. Awesome, guys. So what we're gonna do is, well, let's talk about it a little bit first. So my first experience with AGM batteries was way back in the mid to early 2000s probably. My first ever purchase from Amazon.com was an Optima red top battery. And that battery was 9 years old when I gave that car away, and it was still working. Best battery I've ever owned, hands down. Since then, I have owned some Optimas that have not lasted anywhere near that. And I've heard that the manufacturing was outsourced, and so they're not the same quality they once were. So from there, I went to Odyssey, and I had an Odyssey, and I've got some videos on that one in a red Cavalier that car has now gone on to its new owner. That battery lasted just over the warranty period, and so they did agree to replace it, which was really cool. I'll edit it. Yes, I can lower it. Gotta lower the scooter here, guys. Check this out. But, all right. There you go. So, that Odyssey battery, you know, I expected to last, you know, my expectations were high from what I had experienced with that original Optima that I had. So when it barely lasted over 3 years, and the guy went ahead and replaced it. He's like, yeah, you're outside of the warranty period, but they went ahead and sent me a brand new one. So that battery, as far as I know, is still going in that car that somebody else has. And from there, mainly for cost savings, I started researching, and I found the Duracell brand that Batteries Plus carries. I'm not sure if they're exclusive to them or not. And I put one in this car 2.5 years ago, and you could go back and check that out. We had a bad battery, I believe, that took out our alternator, and then within the same week, we had to replace the starter. So all three of these were changed 2.5 years ago. So imagine my shock when my wife's Pilot here won't start the day before Thanksgiving. And I think, well, oh no, it's gonna be something terrible and something expensive and complicated. Turns out that AGM battery went bad out of the blue. I mean, literally no warning. Nothing was left on. You know, we checked it. It was 11.6 or 11.8. I put it on this Optima brand charger on the AGM mode overnight. The best we could do was 11.8. I take it to Batteries Plus the day after Thanksgiving, obviously, because the holiday delayed things. And instead of, you know, an immediate replacement, they said that they needed to charge and test the battery. I was as gracious as I could be. I said, okay. I told them I had already done that, but you know, they don't know who I am, and I'm no expert. I just know a little bit, guys. I know enough to be dangerous. So I let them have it. 24 hours later, they finally agree that the battery's bad, because lo and behold, the battery, when they charged it and tested it, was at like 11.6. So it's like, okay, that's basically what I had told you guys. Finally, so they agreed to replace it, but they didn't have one. Go back to that short, guys. I think it was a 26F or 24F group battery. They did not have it. They agreed to transfer it from another store. So again, I'm waiting. Literally the night before we were taking this car on a 3-hour road trip one way, I got a replacement battery. If you'll come over, Gabe, and we'll look at it. They ended up doing a substitution on this group. Here, I'll take it. This is a group 34R, and it is more CCA, they assured me. I'm not sure on the reserve and the amp hours and all that stuff, but I went ahead and said thank you because we needed it. Now, it is physically smaller. I had to use their little plastic honeycomb that goes beneath the battery to even get it up to where this strap would even hold it down. And another thing that's weird, comment down below if you know what's up with this, but this battery has a very thin, the positive terminal did not fit, my clamp didn't fit it. And I'm like, okay, this is bizarre. So I know this is gonna look super hodgepodge, but like I said, this was done 8 p.m. the night before we were needing to drive this car after it had been down like 5 days. I'm gonna look online. Comment down below if you know anything about battery terminal shims so you can see what I did. I just stuck a piece of metal in and clamped it down because I could literally not get this clamp to close onto this battery terminal. So that was kind of strange. Wasn't sure what to make of that. The negative terminal fit fine, and this battery is several months old. It's now December of 23. So I have not actually had a chance, because of the timing of everything, to actually charge this battery fully. So we've been driving it for like a week now at this point, and the alternator, when I tested it, was showing 14.2, so everything should be good. What I want to do is use my scan tool. We're going to do this in a minute. We're going to use the scan tool that I have, and it's got a mode that's going to allow us to see not only the battery voltage and the alternator's charging voltage, but it's going to show us the voltage while cranking. And like I said, and you can go back to this video from 2.5 years ago, I replaced that alternator and I replaced the starter and that other battery all within a week of each other. But this one is new. This one's like a week. It's been in here about a week. So we're gonna start over and see how far we get with this one, and I hope that 2.5 year one was just a fluke. Because if I'm not mistaken, these have a 48-month free replacement, and that's one of the reasons I went with them. Odyssey are known to be top shelf, as are, I've heard of a brand called North Star, which I have yet to try. I'd like to, if I could get the money together for a North Star battery. Sorry guys if I'm rambling in this video, but I'm just trying to share what I've learned over the years. So I have 2 chargers. This is my Optima charger. I bought this when I had Optima batteries, and like I said, that original Optima lasted 9 years and it was still going in a 1994 Cavalier that I ended up giving away. Really good running car. Anyway, so you can see that you could charge a small battery, you can charge a regular automotive, and you can also charge a high performance AGM. And so I alternate. I'll use this one sometimes, and I'll use my CTEK sometimes to charge my AGM batteries. If you're doing AGM on this, use that snowflake mode. That's for use in extra cold climates or to charge an AGM. So it's only a fraction of a volt. I think it's like 0.3 volts higher that it will charge the AGM at, but they do a really good job of giving the AGM battery exactly what it needs to get fully charged. So probably when I'm done with the video, I'll go ahead and fire one of these up on here overnight. And so that's another thing that I would do when I would have these AGM batteries. I tried to not be what's called a battery abuser. And sorry, I first heard that term on a website, and I'm sorry, I don't know who it was, but using your term, I thought it was a good term. So a battery abuser is somebody who, with their key off, is constantly listening to their radio, or they're constantly, you know, running their battery low with their alternator not charging. Now, if you do that with a deep cycle battery, that's what it's made for. But I'm talking about just regular, you know, automotive batteries, and people are sitting there running their, you know, maybe their ventilation fan and listening to the radio just with the key on, engine off. And what that's doing is it's draining your battery. And so, you know, we didn't do things like that. We were very diligent to have the car running and the alternator charging if we were, you know, using electronics or doing anything like that. And I didn't do it on a schedule, but maybe monthly on average, I would try to connect one of these to my AGM batteries and even my standard batteries on the appropriate mode, and just let them charge. And these things will not overcharge your batteries. They will literally bring them to a state of 100% charge. And like this one, when it gets to step 7, it floats at 13.6. And one of you asked in a comment, and then I tried to respond, and YouTube like took it away, but you asked what color light 7 should be, and I think it's green. I don't remember if it's green or yellow. You don't get to step 8 on this until almost like a week or 10 days later. So 7 is fully charged, and it floats the battery at 13.6 volts. Step 8 is when, after a week or 10 days, it shuts off, and the battery charger won't kick back on until the battery drops to a certain amount. So you can literally leave it on. It'll cycle between 7 and 8 indefinitely. You can leave it on as a battery tender. It will not overcharge. And this one, you know, does its thing. And, you know, this is a really good one too. And this one will give you an instant readout of volts and amps. It's really cool to like watch it, because sometimes you'll be like, wow, it's, you know, it seems like it's really high on the voltage, but the amperage is really low, or vice versa. You know, I think both of these, that one's 4.3 and this one's 4.0, I think, max amps. So these are not fast chargers. These are, the purpose of these is fine tuning, is getting your battery fully charged. It's not a fast charger in any stretch. So let's see how long this thing lasts. I guess subscribe and, you know, turn on the notification bell if you like that kind of stuff. I'm the kind of guy, I don't like my phone bothering me and having a bunch of things beeping. But if you do want to catch my videos, you can hit that bell and that'll notify you. So let's get in this thing, and I'll show you the scan tool and what we're gonna do there. Alright guys, so we're inside the Pilot. This is my Actron. I can't remember the model number. This is like a couple hundred and change on Amazon. So Oh yeah, let's put the key on. All right, so here we are, key on, engine off. What that all is, that's my VTM4. I've actually got a very popular video where I changed my VTM4 fluid. So it's it's time to do it again, but I haven't gotten around to it. So that's what the wrench is there. So enter, keys on, engines off. I've got my AC and radio off, and so it'll tell you your IM, you know, your emissions monitoring tests are complete. I'd say this is a middle road scan tool for a DIY person. You know, it does more than just read and clear codes, but obviously it's not like an Autel, it's not like a bi-directional thing where you can activate things on the car. Okay, so let's see here. I'm guessing that one of these might be the code for when the battery went bad. Oh no, we got oxygen sensor circuit low. Interesting. So yeah. So this is some other stuff here. Let's see what Code Connect says that it might be. So got your data stream, but where I want to go is special functions. Try to keep this video somewhat specific, and there it is, charging system monitor. So this is interesting. Turn key on, do not start the engine. So right there, this is like throwing a voltmeter across your battery terminals. Key on or key off, engine off, voltage. Please start the engine. All right, so it's at 12.5, and we're going to fire it up. Enter once engine has started, determining key on engine running. Okay, so right here you can see 12.5 is our key on, engine off voltage. Key on, engine running is 14.3, so you can see the alternator is doing its job, and the cranking voltage is 8.2. Now I honestly don't know how to interpret the cranking voltage. I don't know what a good number is. Press enter to view the data plot. Comment down below if you know what some of this stuff means. So you start at 12.5 and you drop to 8.2, and there you can see it come up. So yeah, I assume that's a good number. I mean, this is a brand new battery. Let's hope everything's cool. And we actually have no current check engine light. So anyway, but yeah, so that's what we got. And now that I've got the engine running, you know, obviously it's charging 14.3, and so all right, so now we're back out of the car, and so I'm gonna plug it in. Neither of these has an off-on switch. You just kind of plug them in, and so if you come up and look, the Optima does its display check, and it asks you to make a selection. So we're gonna do pre-charge battery status, and it'll tell you exactly where you're at, 12.9. So what's going on there is that few minutes with the engine running, at the alternator was charging it. Now it's got it up to 12.9. So it would have been nice to do this after it had sat all night and not had this fresh, you know, charge from the alternator. But basically what you do is, you know, I don't know, there's a question here. Do you consider this Duracell a standard AGM or a high performance AGM? I usually charge it on high performance AGM, and so this will go through its thing. It's going to analyze the battery about 2 minutes, and then it'll go on and start charging it. Buddy says like and subscribe, and he says get your AMSOIL at my link, #1synthetic.com. Links in the pinned comment and the description. Look up your vehicle and see what synthetic oils, filters, and fuel additives are right for your vehicle. All right, and we're back. So it has just started charging, and it's at 13 volts and 2.8 amps, but this will literally start changing. There you go. This will vary the amps and the volts, and it'll go all over the place. And it'll do this charging mode, and then it'll do kind of a conditioning mode. I hear you, buddy. And so I like this charger, and then it will actually vary the numbers once it reaches its completely full state as well, where it just says maintaining battery. So anyway, we could do that one. And then, so if I was to put this one on, it doesn't give you any type of readout, but it does go through these 8 stages. And the reason I bought this one, I mean, it had very high reviews, and I thought this #1, which is desulfation mode, I honestly have never seen the charger do that mode. It literally will go 1 and then almost immediately to 2. And so maybe that just means none of my batteries have ever been sulfated. So I don't know, comment down below if you have any experience. But basically, it kind of checks the battery to see if it's good. Then I think 3 and 4, one's constant current and one's constant voltage. And it brings the battery to, you know, very high state. And I forget exactly, 5, 6. You can look these up on the internet. So essentially this one does the same thing, but yeah, it's a party. That's right. Keeping your batteries charged is a party, but it doesn't give you any type of readout. So, you know when it gets to step 7, it's fully charged. If you leave it on for, 7 to 10 days, it'll go up to step 8, and it'll just cycle on and off as needed. But you've got motorcycle mode. That's for your small batteries. You've got car battery mode, then you've got AGM or snowflake mode, and then recondition. So recondition is interesting. It brings the voltage up to like 15 volts, which is usually the upper limit for anything you want to charge a battery at like this. And it senses it. It's kind of can be risky. So it's kind of like if you're kind of at a place where a battery, it's almost like a last resort mode. But I don't know. Comment down below if you've used that mode and what your experience has been. But anyway, guys, so hope that helps. Just wanted to give you an update. I had somebody reach out on a comment and ask kind of what my experience has been having an AGM battery in my 07 Pilot, and I appreciate you reaching out. I hope this answers some of your questions, and maybe I'll do another update. Maybe I'll do a short after we get this battery fully charged and see if the resting voltage after an overnight off the charger is higher than 12.5, because I did kind of expect higher than 12.5 from an AGM. I want to say I remember maybe my Odysseys and Optimas being, maybe 12.7, 12.8. Hey, buddy. Buddy says like and subscribe, and look up your vehicle at my web link, #1synthetic.com. Well, there you have it, guys. So it's kind of my experience so far with AGMs. And if I ever get the money together and can justify buying a North Star brand, I'd like to do that, because I hear they're made of 100% virgin lead, you know, not recycled lead, which is going to have impurities in it. So yeah, let me know if you have any experience with North Star batteries. This is just a family car. We don't have like a high-powered stereo or amp. We don't have a winch on our front bumper. I mean, it's just normal, you know, usage in a vehicle. So like I said, when the last Duracell AGM only lasted 2.5 years, I was shocked and kind of like, what in the world? But then I was relieved that it was something so simple, because my first reaction was, oh no, what's wrong now? You know, I literally did not suspect the battery at first. So thankfully it was simple. They did replace it under warranty free. I had the little bit of delay, like I said, but the Lord worked that out too, as I was off work for several days. I would have preferred probably that substitution a little sooner than they did. It just, you know, the car was down, and part of this is because I was at work, and part of it was the holiday, and then them testing the battery. They kept it 24 hours, and then trying to get a battery from another store, which never came. They didn't have it. They thought they did, and then eventually substituting. So car was down from Wednesday morning when my wife couldn't start till we got it running Monday night before we left for went to the Space Center over at Cape Canaveral. Guys, if you're ever in Florida, check it out. It was pretty cool, and it allows you to see a lot of the wonder of God's creation and the universe. And we know from the Bible that the universe, the heavens, are telling of the glory of God. So thanks, guys, and subscribe, share, and hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and hope you are having a Merry Christmas season so far, and stay tuned. Now I'll share the verse of the day. Guys, the verse of the day is from Psalm 68. This is a magnificent psalm. And just a little bit here. Let God arise, let his enemies be scattered. Let those who hate him flee before him. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melts before the fire, so let the wicked perish before God. But let the righteous be glad. Let them exult before God. Yes, let them rejoice with gladness. Sing to God, sing praises to his name. Lift up a song for him who rides through the desert, whose name is the Lord, and exult before him. A father of the fatherless and a judge for the widows is God in his holy habitation. And guys, you can go on and read. I encourage you to be in God's Word, especially this season of the year. I pray that you would have a wonderful Christmas, and recognize that the whole message of the Bible is God's mercy and grace in saving sinners. And so recognize you've sinned against God, and that your penalty would be eternal separation and punishment from him. But what did God do? God became a man. That's what we celebrate at Christmas, so that he could die in the place. He took the punishment you deserve, so that now he's free to forgive all who call upon him in repentance and faith. God's justice was satisfied because he paid the price, and now he can pour mercy and grace upon undeserving sinners like you and me. God bless you, and Merry Christmas.